Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. There are 8 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. 6 are in the Saskatoon region, 1 in the southwest, and 1 in the south central zone. 103 cases are considered active, with 3 of those in the region. That includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 3 people are in hospital, 1 more person has recovered. Last week was the first week of classes for schools around the border city. We spoke with one local school on how it has been adjusting to the new COVID-19 rules and restrictions. At Bishop Lloyd Middle School, this library is usually filled with students, but because of COVID-19, those common areas aren't as busy as they used to be.
I would say one of the biggest changes that the staff has noticed is how quiet it is in the building, because the students are in their classrooms all day long and we have staggered lunch hours. And instead of students moving around at transition time in between periods, it's just the teacher moving around. So for example, if I was teaching my homeroom and the bell rang, instead of them moving to their next class with their next teacher, I am moving to my next class.
Since the students stay in one classroom all day, teachers at Bishop Lloyd try to find other ways to get their students involved.
We've been encouraged to take students outside for learning as much as possible. So, for example, my English class went outside to do some writing yesterday. It was a beautiful day and they loved it. And already first thing this morning they asked me if we could go outside again. So they're starting to advocate for that for themselves too, because they need that movement and fresh air and opportunity to take their mask down for a few minutes.
The students and staff have to wear a mask and need to disinfect their personal spaces throughout the day.
If I've sat at my desk and used the computer and used the smartboard, maybe turned off the lights, opened the door, etc., I sanitize everything that I know that I have touched. Before a new teacher comes into the classroom, I just am vacating. And then that new teacher would sanitize before I re-enter. Student desks are being sanitized before they eat lunch and after they have finished lunch. And hand sanitizing or hand washing is encouraged as much as possible.
Hiron mentions that so far the reaction from both staff and students on returning to school has been positive.
You know, when I asked my classes that I've taught this week, would you rather be doing, supplemental learning again, or do you like being here? They all unanimously say we're just so happy to be here, that even though it's different and it's kind of hard, they're just happy to be here.
Jasmine King, Primetime Local News. Now for this week's retrospect, here's Blake Nath.
This week in retrospect. Back in 1995, the border city responds to a string of arsons in the area.
This house fire on the weekend is only the most recent in a string of arsons in the past few months that have left officials very concerned. Lloydminster's fire chief says Saturday's fire moved very quickly through the house.
We had a broken leg and an injured spine and a lot of smoke inhalation, but we're very, very, very fortunate that we didn't have 9 lives on 9 people burned to death.
There have also been several serious incidents involving dumpster fires.
A garbage fire that we had the other night down behind Midwest Furniture, which could have been very dangerous because the garbage was on the ground. And not only being on the ground, it was piled around the gas meter, which creates a serious problem if it got out of hand.
And in 2000, local kids continue the tradition of the Terry Fox Run.
Students in this small Midwest community are honoring a Canadian hero today. These Paradise Valley kids are sweating it out to raise money for the 20th annual Terry Fox Run.
I think it's a great cause. We're raising money for cancer research, and cancer affects everyone, so it's a good cause.
What are you guys doing here today?
While the younger students took a 4-mile stroll around the school, the older kids swam, cycled, and ran in a triathlon. This is the 10th year E.H. Walters School has put on this event. Teachers hope the kids have fun while learning some valuable lessons.
The kids here, every one of them has a job to do, so they learn organizational skills and they learn to participate, and they really have a lot of fun, and it's a great way to get the year going.
This school of 170 students is hoping to raise over $3,000 for cancer research today. None of these students were even born when the first Terry Fox run took place, but they still know all about our Canadian hero.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
Now our Evan Kenny will take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks, Jasmine. Taking a look now at your evening weather. Currently 12 degrees here in Lloydminster. That was the high of today. It's actually the warmest that we've seen in the border city over the past 48 hours. A little bit of cloud coverage here throughout the day. A little bit of that smoke coming in as the day went on. Not nearly as bad as other parts of Canada. Overnight, there is a chance that we could see a little bit of frost as a heads up there. Taking a look now at some temperatures from around the region. 11 degrees in Vermilion, Vegreville, and in Marwayne, as well as in Bonnyville. 9 degrees in Cold Lake, and in St. Paul, 10 over in Edmonton. If we take a look now at the Saskatchewan side here, 14 degrees in Macklin and in Maidstone, 15 in North Battleford. North Battleford did see a little more smoke than we did here in Lloydminster. 11 degrees in St. Walburg, as well as Pearceland, and 9 degrees in Meadow Lake. Taking a look now, Lac La Biche could be seeing a little bit of precipitation, but not a high chance. Taking a look now overnight in North Battleford, we're looking at a nice 4 degrees before 13 tomorrow. Very similar going on in Cold Lake. 5 degrees overnight before 12 tomorrow. As I mentioned, North Battleford is seeing a little bit of smoke from those fires down in California. Taking a look now at your school day forecast, we could be seeing some rain early in the day. Hopefully that will go away before 9 degrees at lunch and 12 by the time the kids are out of school. If we take a look now at our 3-day forecast, 5 degrees is the low for tomorrow. Before 12 on Wednesday, and a -1 for the low on Wednesday. Like I said, there is a chance we could see some frost overnight. 15 degrees is the high on Thursday. We should see some sun there. That's all we have for the weather for now. We'll be back after the break with more news. A busy week in national sports is going to continue. Eric Bay joins myself in breaking it down. Joining me today for our weekly sports talk is Eric Bay. Eric, thanks for joining me.
For sure, tons of stuff to talk about today.
For sure, lots of sports getting going as last Thursday was one of the first days, or the first day rather, that all the major sports played on the same day. So lots of stuff is going on, including the NHL awards. A handful of awards have been announced, including the Jack Adams Award. Boston Bruins head coach Bruce Cassidy ended up being the winner of that. Eric, I guess first of all, just what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, this one was a little surprising, I think, to most. Everything else so far has been pretty run-of-the-mill, but when you look at the other two nominees there, the finalists rather, and you have a guy like Alain Vigneault, who took a team in Philadelphia that's been bouncing back and forth between in the playoffs and then missing the playoffs, and he does what he's done this season and made Philadelphia what was the hottest team heading into the stoppage, and then obviously couldn't recapture it in the playoffs. But again, led a team to nearly a division title in a shortened season and really turned them around. Then again, John Tortorella too. What can you say about that guy? I mean, the entire team was just decimated when they lost, most of their top scorers, Sergei Bobrovsky, and a lot of people had this team pegged for, bottom 5 finish, looking for that top pick, Alexis Lafreniere possibly. So you look at what he's done. He led them to a playoff spot, technically not because they were 9th, but I mean, he was 1 point out the stoppage, so there was a very good chance that he could have been in as well. So I think from what he did, no offense to Bruce Cassidy, because again, a good team and 10 points up on anybody else, but I think you could have given it to either of the other two coaches for sure.
Yeah, Bruce Cassidy had a record of 44, 14, and 12, which is obviously amazing, the best in the NHL. But Eric, for me, it comes down to the point where when do good players make a good coach versus when does a good coach make a good team? I think in the case of the Boston Bruins, it's just great players making a great coach. I mean, you have players like Tuukka Rask, Patrice Bergeron, Zdeno Chara. I know Chara's getting older, but he's still a dominant force out there. It's pretty hard not to be an amazing team when you have a cast like they do. The Boston Bruins were first in goals against, tied for 7th in goals for, 3rd on the PK, and 2nd on the power play. So obviously they were one of the best teams in every statistical category. But I got to agree with you. For me, John Tortorella, I think, should have won the award. Like you said, everybody thought that Columbus was going to be one of the bottom teams in the league. He led them to a 33, 22, and 15 record. And he was 3rd in the league in goals against with a team that, like you said, they got gutted over the offseason. 2 almost no-name goalies coming in and just overachieved in every possible way. Eric, I guess now just talking about NHL Conference Finals, Tampa Bay and Dallas are each up 3-1 in their series. Do these surprise you?
I mean, not necessarily in the sense that from one perspective, Tampa Bay has been by far the best team this entire playoffs, and each of their series has gone only 5 games so far and could possibly only go 5 games again. I think the one that maybe more people are surprised about is Dallas being up 3-1. But I think when you look at just the scores of the game, they've all been pretty close these last couple of matchups. So really could have gone either way. I guess it is a little more surprising that Dallas is the team that's up. But Vegas really needs to turn around. They haven't been scoring very much. They've been playing more so on the perimeter, so they really have to start, crashing that net, getting some traffic in front, and disturbing Anton Khudobin because he's been playing very well. But again, he hasn't been really challenged, I don't think, yet by Vegas. But at this point, I wouldn't say, again, that it's too surprising because that series has been very close so far.
I agree, Eric. Vegas went from almost bullying the Vancouver Canucks to, yeah, exactly like you said, being a perimeter team, not really getting anything really going. So that has surprised me. And as well, I didn't think one team was really going to run away in the Western Conference, but I did think Vegas was going to lead and win this series. So to see them down by 2 games is surprising. Now, if we take a look at the Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay, obviously the last handful of years, has been sort of the powerhouse team in the league. But the New York Islanders have been a surprise for, I think, everybody who watches the NHL, especially after what they did against Philadelphia, shutting them out in Game 7. I think just the high-flying offense of Tampa has been too much. I mean, trying to score more than 4 or 5 goals a game when you're the New York Islanders is something that is not easily achievable. Now, Eric, do you think we could see a 3-1 upset in this where, either the Golden Knights or the Islanders come back to win 3 straight?
Well, it's going to be tough. Only one team has done it since the conference finals were brought in about 1981-82. So it's going to be tough. There's very low odds, but I think if any team is going to do it, I think it would be Vegas. Again, you mentioned Tampa Bay, just so deep, too deep for the Islanders, I think, at this point. So I think Vegas, if they can turn it on, like I say, crash the net a little bit, create some problems there in front for Dallas, I think that they do maybe have a realistic chance for sure to take 3 straight.
Now, final question, Eric, for you quickly here. Let's say Dallas and Tampa are the 2 teams to make the finals. Who do you like there?
Tampa. I mean, really, again, we've talked all this time. Tampa is really the cream of the crop when it comes to the NHL. They've lost in the past. Last year, they've had a few, conference final dates where they've lost the last 2 games to miss out on the Stanley Cup again to return since 2015. So I think this year it's Tampa's year to lose.
I got no reason to argue with you there, Eric. Eric, it's always a pleasure getting to chat with you. Thank you for joining me.
For sure.
Well, taking another look here at your evening weather, currently 11 degrees here in Lloydminster, 10 degrees in Edmonton, 11 also in Red Deer, and then 6 in Edson, Whitecourt, and in Athabasca, also 9 up in Cold Lake. Taking a look now at the Saskatchewan side here, 17 degrees in Saskatoon, 14 in Melfort, 15 in North Battleford, 13 in Prince Albert, and 10 up in Meadow Lake. Looking over now at the North parts of each province. 6 degrees in Grand Prairie as well as in Slave Lake, 9 in Peace River and in Fort McMurray. Looking now at the Saskatchewan side, one of the colder places in the country, let alone the province. Uranium City only sitting at 6 degrees here today as well. Stony Rapids and Wollaston Lake joining that club there. 9 degrees in La Loche as well as in Buffalo Narrows and in La Ronge, and 10 over in Flin Flon. If we take a look now at the southern portions of each province, 13 in Lethbridge and in Medicine Hat, 14 in Banff and in Coronation, and then 9 over in Calgary. We're used to seeing some higher numbers in that portion of the region. As well on the Saskatchewan side, 20 degrees in Estevan, 18 in Moose Jaw, 17 in Swift Current, as well as in Regina, 16 in Kindersley, and 13 over in Yorkton. If we look now at the national temperatures, 16 degrees and raining over in Vancouver. They had a very smoky day as well as in Victoria. We also saw some smoke in southern Alberta and parts of southern Saskatchewan. Starting to move its way up though. 11 degrees in Whitehorse, 9 in Yellowknife. If we start moving more central here, 16 degrees in Winnipeg, 15 in Toronto, 13 in Quebec City, 18 in St. John's and in Halifax, and 5 in Iqaluit. Now, taking a look at some of these overnight numbers, hovering right around that 5 degree there, 4 degrees over in Unity. There is a chance that we could see some rain late tonight and into the morning as well. A chance of some frost overnight. If we look at tomorrow's temperatures now, 12 degrees in Lloydminster as well as in Marwayne, as well in Wainwright, Vermilion, Vegreville, and in Edmonton. A lot of 12s on that board. If we look at the Saskatchewan side, 12 in Maidstone, St. Walburg, and in Meadow Lake. Everywhere is hovering just above that 10-degree mark. If we look now, Wednesday has a high of 12 degrees, but unfortunately a low of -1, the first negative we have seen in quite some time. 15 degrees on Thursday before 20 on Friday. Things start warming up into next week as well. 20 degrees on Saturday before 18 on Sunday and on Monday. That's all we have for weather for now. We'll be back with more news after the break.
I'm speaking with Chris King, head basketball coach of the Lakeland College Rustlers. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing very good.
Good.
So Hoop Factory is opening a new basketball training facility here in Lloydminster. Why do you believe this would be important for the community?
Yeah, I think basketball is one of the sports that probably hasn't got enough recognition in the last few years, and it's growing not only in Canada but here in Lloydminster. So one of the things that our company really thought that would be helpful to help grow basketball in Lloydminster in the area is get a facility where the athletes could come to, drop in, play and work on their game, and then do camps and other activities as well.
And can you explain more on what the goals are for the Golden Ticket Sports organization that you're a part of, and who else is all part of it with you?
Yeah, myself and Tanner Brightman. Tanner Brightman's from Regina. We own the company Golden Ticket Sports. That company, basically, we started out doing coach development for basketball kind of across Canada, and we've done a lot of clinics over the past 18 months. And that's kind of expanded now into Hoop Factory here in Lloydminster. So doing a lot of these clinics, we met a lot of great people across the world, and we've really expanded our coaching knowledge. But now we want to kind of expand the grassroots of basketball across the province of Saskatchewan and Alberta.
And what can basketball players expect with this new facility and everything involved to help them?
Yeah, so there's going to be six hoops in there, shot clocks, score clocks. We got 2 youth courts going sideways, 1 main FIBA court. So they're going to be able to come in, work on their game. We're going to have high performance clinics. We're going to have leagues running out of there. The facility will also be used for some volleyball league play as well, just to help the community right now, especially in COVID. So I think this is the first of its kind in Saskatchewan. So we're really excited to kind of be the pioneers on this and have Lloydminster kind of getting the first taste of it.
And was COVID-19 a big factor for deciding to have a new facility added to the area?
It just happened, the timing lined up. We were looking at this and then COVID hit. So I think COVID made it a little more difficult to get going. So hopefully now that everything's starting to ramp up, that the athletes will find value in having a place that they can go drop in and play, since a lot of the schools are closed right now and school sports aren't going.
And what guidelines will you follow for COVID-19 when this facility is open for residents?
Yeah, so we have to follow the city guidelines first, and then the Health Saskatchewan. We've talked with Basketball Alberta, Basketball Saskatchewan, so we've made sure we're on the right page there. And then obviously the sanitization procedures. So renting the facility and using the facility is a little different than a normal year because we're going to leave time to sanitize and make sure all the balls and everything's wiped down before the next user group comes in or the next group of athletes. So it's different than a normal year, but we're up to date in all of our policies. So we're pretty happy with the way we're proceeding.
And can you explain on what the facility will also look like and where it'll be here in the area?
Yeah, we're located on Highway 17 South, so straight across from Second Cup. It's our company's Black and Gold, so it's going to be black and gold in there. It just got finished painting, so it looks pretty cool. We went in today, so we're just waiting for the floor to arrive and the hoops to come and then get everything installed. So we're hoping about October 10th we'll be up and running.
Oh, perfect. I was just going to ask when the plan was to open up.
Yeah, so we think we'll have an opening in that range, and then we'll get all of our bookings started on the October 17th weekend.
And has your company, the Golden Ticket Sports, received lots of support so far with this?
Yeah, you know, there's probably 5 or 6 people. We get a couple every day asking about how we did this. How do you make this happen? And we have a very good coaching network base that supported us a lot. So a lot of people are happy to see the game expanding in the sport of basketball, just like it has in other sports like hockey and volleyball and now football as well.
Is there anything else you'd like to add for residents to know about?
No, just check us out on social media, Golden Ticket Sports Hoop Factory, and our website is opening here tomorrow, so you guys can check that out as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Chris, and best of luck to this facility in the future. I'm sure it'll be very successful, and it's going to be great for all the players out there.
Well, thanks for having us on, and we look forward to seeing everyone.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm joined today with Ray Tatro. He's the president of Mountjoy Snow Resort. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today, Ray.
Thanks for showing your interest.
So I understand over the summer that there were some upgrades that are being done to Mountjoy. Can you just talk a little bit about what's going on?
The upgrades are actually going to be starting this week. And although we have been working on the safeties and the cables on our 2 lifts, what we're starting this week is an increase in the number of feet of below frost level water line so that we can feed our snow cannons to make snow easier and better when the cold weather comes.
So with that new upgrades that are being put into place, what kind of changes are people going to be able to notice? Is the snow quality maybe going to be improved, or is there going to be just more of it earlier in the year that you guys are able to get up on the hill?
Yeah, it'll definitely give us more coverage on the hill. So we haven't had consistent coverage on the south side of our lift line. We've been having to count on Mother Nature to do that, and now this will allow us to make man-made snow on that side, as well as give us better coverage on the north side, so we have good quality snow for our riders to use earlier in the year.
So in March, Mountjoy had to cut the season early because of COVID-19. How difficult or how interesting have these past few months been for Mountjoy Snow Resort?
Well, yeah, we were somewhat disappointed. Obviously, like everybody else, COVID's not good for anything, but we missed what we anticipated to be 3 more very good weekends because our snow conditions were really good in mid-March when we had to shut down. But we've been wondering, like a lot of people that are trying to operate businesses or nonprofits and whatnot, is to how can we safely have our product for this next winter. And we've done some strategies. We get some input certainly from Canada West Ski Association that we're a member of, and we feel that we should be able to have a safe product for the public to use when we get open.
So when you reopen, what are some things that you foresee maybe being different for people, or what are some of the things that might have to change?
Where we distribute our lift tickets, we're anticipating having an electronic purchase of the lift ticket online before you get there, so you don't have any contact and you can go right to the lift. And spacing and in our rental building and where our lift tickets are purchased now. Like so many things now, you have to have the social spacing, social distancing. Our rental building would be a maximum number of people, and we would have them spread while we were working. And I would anticipate that that mass probably would be a part of it also. One thing about snowboarders and skiers, they're very common for them to wear masks anyway. And the same with our lift attendants. We would they wouldn't have as much contact. They're wearing gloves all the time. They're and for them to have masks would be kind of common. Perhaps our T-bar that can accommodate two, if it's not somebody that is one of their family members or that they're comfortable with, we would have one person per T instead of two like we do now. Our chalet is not going to be very big or not very good at accommodating the numbers we've had in the past. So we're looking at some strategies like perhaps putting up an insulated tent with heaters for some place for riders to get warmed up, and probably have a procedure where people would pick up their food or drink items and then move on out. But there's, like in every industry out there right now, people are strategizing and scratching their heads and checking with other people in the industry to find a safe yet efficient way that you can operate.
So in October, the AGM is going to be taking place for Mount Joy. Can you just talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that would be our annual meeting. It's taking place at 7 p.m. October 21st at the Legacy Center. The public for sure is invited. Everybody's invited to it. We've got 3 positions that we need to fill on our board right now to get us back to our 10. And but definitely it's a good evening to gather some information, and if you've got good ideas to come to the board with them and try to work on them. And we're always looking for volunteers to help with operations and setup for Mount Joy for every season. One other thing that we are going to do this month of September is we will do a steak night, but it's going to be carried over 3 nights, the 27th, 28th, and 29th at Harvest to Home at the Lloyd Golf and Country Club. And so you can purchase your tickets, and it's a fundraiser for Mount Joy, and phone for reservation on which day you would like to go. And those tickets will be available on our Facebook page or on our website. They're not there today, but they should be by Wednesday.
Thanks so much for talking with me today, Ray, and I wish you guys the best of luck as you kind of gear up to prepare to get things going as we move into the winter in a few months here.
Great.
Taking a final look now at your weather. 12 degrees is expected for tomorrow with a 41% chance of rain. We could see some frost overnight as well. That'll continue on 12 on Wednesday and nice and sunny for the rest of the week.
Thanks for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.